I need a backup plan for the backup plan for the backup plan, just in case. You know, we talk about having a plan A and a plan B and a plan C, because we don't necessarily trust plan A. Or think we can count on plan A working on this and the backup plans. These days we not have backup plans. That's when I tell my daughter to have backup plans. You know, one of the things she says to me is, you said to plan for stuff, and I plan it, and it never goes the way I plan. My answer is, you need to have a backup plan, and you think about all these other things. You know, now that she's broken up and is living on her own again, it's so hard. And, welcome to the world of being an adult. You know, yeah, all the bills are yours, all the things are yours, daycare is yours, all that stuff is yours. But those are things I told you to think about while you were making these decisions. And now you're seeing why. But it becomes an issue of something as simple as she had something go on with the plumbing under the sink. And I was like, well, did you go in and try to look under that U thing? There's either plastic or metal ring around it, kind of like the rings around the milk cake. Twist it, make sure it's tight on both of those ends if it's dripping under there. Would you tell Rose to do that? Yeah. I mean, you can call the repairman, but in the meantime, your floors are being flooded. And when the repairman gets here, you got the bill. So that's something you can do in the meantime as a test to see some of the things. Well, you never told me. You've seen me do it. I've done it. And you've talked about it. You just were not interested because it didn't apply to you. But those things about being that example for, you know, telling and sharing who and what it is that you need to do. And being able to count on that. Now, if it, you know, sometimes in our best of worlds, things don't work out like we planned them to. Does that happen to anybody else?
Yeah. Maybe they're not supposed to.
But maybe they're not supposed to. But even in that situation, when things, you know, to our best efforts, our best man-made plans, God laughs. And things go awry. But are we actually living up to what it is we're trying to do? Are we putting forth our best effort? Or, you know, things happen always. But can a person say, okay, I just see where that didn't work out because of something, or they saying you did, you know, they can see that you didn't do whatever it was you said. That's kind of part of the difference. When we feel like we need to take an oath or swear by something, I swear on a stack of Bibles. Why do we feel we need to take that extra step?
Because we haven't been sure in the past.
There's something that we feel like we need to say that's beyond our own, something that's bigger than our own integrity to promise by. I promise on my children, promise on my mama's grave, something that we feel that is higher than our own honor, our own integrity, that we're trying to pull in and link to. And as we see, just to say your own yes and your own no stand on its own. Old Testament things, there were lots of places that talked about the promises you made in God's name, the promises you made, you having to do those because of all of the evil that will come into you. If those things don't happen, if you fail to keep that vow, you fail to keep those promises. That's again, that was from that fear-based. And so Jesus is saying, forget all that. Don't, you know, make this promise. Just don't make promises out. Be your own best story. Be your own best advisor. Be confident in yourself. Be who you are. Know who you are, whose you are, what you are, and let that stand on its own. One of the, even beyond even my understanding from a metaphysical point of things, one of my own sayings as a young, brash, make it nice, brash, tactless female, I used to say, I shake the ground I stand on. That was a Linda thing. That was a Linda saying, meaning that if I was big enough to do it, I was big enough to say it. You know, I actually watched a little bit of Ayana last night. She was asking this woman, she said, if you're old enough to do it, own it. So that's the whole thing. If that's something, and if that's something that you feel big enough to do, or big enough to be, then why not simply say it? Or do it, or own it. Your yea be yea and your no be no. If there is some decision in your life or something you're contemplating, this is a practical thing for yourself, that you're thinking about, hopefully as we're making some of those decisions, we're thinking about the potential consequences of where we're at, because every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So what are some of the things that will come from those actions? And then, with whatever decision you make at that point, stand on it. My next door neighbor, when I was in LaGrange, her two little girls, they were like 10 months apart. The oldest one was sweet as the youngest one was just one of those that tested the world. Tested the world was her whole thing, and she was the same age as my young. And they would play, my oldest one, they would play together all the time. I would see that, when they were at the house, I would say no, not do, whatever. You could literally just sit here, sit there, think through. If I do it, you could just see the wheels running in her head, running across one day I said something about playing, and I came in and she was literally standing on the back of the couch, running up and down the top of the couch, pulling curtains. I walked out from 2 minutes later, said, sit down, stop running around on the floor. She said, okay, I'll run on top of the furniture. But you have to see, she was one of those things you could always just see her thinking. She said, no, but what if I do this? What if I do this? She thought about it, she dealt with the consequences of it. She was happy with it, she got right on there with her next thing. Do we have that incident? Do we think through the consequences of whatever and then go with our decision? Because the next piece of that, the next step from that is, if we're really thinking about it and decide weighing out our pros and cons or whatever, then when things go astray or things turn out, even some of those consequences we consider that might happen, they come along, who can we blame? What's our out for that? What's our excuse? What's our, and that's one of the things that we tend to do, especially as children. I didn't do it. Who did? The glass is broken. Who broke it? Not me. Not me. I don't know. I'm an only child. How many other people in the house was it to break the glass besides me? But I don't know. Those are kind of things, when you're being true to yourself, then it's owning. It's that next step of the maturity level is being able to step up and own your own process. The integrity of standing there and agreeing upon it, being the person of your word, and then owning whatever the consequences of that will be. I know when I get the extra set of brownies, the consequences of that. I get them, I eat them, I enjoy it, I do whatever else the next day. But I can't blame anybody. Nobody else forced those brownies down my throat. Nobody did that. That was Linda's decision. So what are the things, and I literally, there's a new bakery in town, and I literally go back and say, and I try not to go every week for my one, but I do. But when the little salesperson about it, you sure you don't want to? That's Linda's choice to say yes or no. And I can't say, the little girl forced me to buy a second one. Or that sale was just too good, so I had to buy, they were having 2-for-1 sales, so I had to buy 2 today. That's all Linda's own. So then I have to own the consequences of whatever my yes or my no was. And the practical piece of that, and why that's such a big piece of the Sermon on the Mount, is because it's talking about, it's demonstrating truth principles as demonstrated by Jesus Christ. This is where you're being that example. This is talking about we talked about the murder, we talked about adultery. This is not out there, this is in here, internal ownership. Internal synchronization of yourself and your will with whatever it is you say you believe, whatever path you're taking. And doing that in the simplest of things. Have you ever met anybody, know anybody that simply lies just for the sake of lying?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's no even reason for the kids, getting out of trouble, it wasn't me, kind of thing, whatever. And know they're saying whatever, trying to get them. But sometimes some people, it doesn't even matter. Whatever, but instead of saying whatever, they'll tell lie, just, they're talking, they're lying because their lips are moving.
Yeah, because the lips are moving.
That's what my father said about my ex-brother-in-law.
So we've said about lots of, one of the things that, and I was looking, I forgot who it was, the quote was, but I jot it down, who that quote was. I don't remember who it was, I thought I put it in my notes, A.M. Hunter says, oaths arise because men are so often liars.
Mhm.
So we always have, growing up, we have the thing about the used car salesman.
Mhm.
They say whatever they need to say to get you to buy the car. Politicians will say whatever they need to say to get your vote, kind of thing, whatever. That's that same kind of mentality. Are you doing just it for whatever, or are you being somebody that can then be trusted and counted on and relied upon? And it's again your choice of what do you want to present yourself as?
Mhm.
Do you want to present yourself as a truthful person? Do you want to present yourself as, I'm lying because my lips are moving? And that becomes a core of how you build from the rest of that. It's a very basic truth principle. Truth being the operative word in that statement. No is a simple word.
Yeah.
Very simple. 2 letters. One of those slang statements, which part of no do you understand?
Mhm.
But some people, there are people from my other side of my life that have real problems with saying no.
Yeah.
Because we're a people pleaser, and we want to make everybody happy. We want everybody to like us, and so we have a real problem of saying no, even when it's to our best. Self-defense, self-protection, self-actualization. We will put ourselves out of whatever, just not to have to say no to somebody else. That again comes from that own self-worth. If they don't like me, then I may not be a good person. If I don't do this for them, then they won't like me, then I'm not a good person. That's the own definition of who you are. So this truth principle about letting your yea be yea and your nay be nay is about you standing in your own ground, your own truth, your own worth, and letting that be enough, because you are enough. You're Christ manifest.